Over the past few months, I've been having one of the best gaming experiences I've had in a long time. Elden Ring takes a format that I was already a fan of and expands on it in every sense of the word. Some are tired of hearing about it, and I've noticed a lot of similar points and arguments being thrown around, so I'm going to do my best to offer a bit of a different take as to why this game is such a masterpiece. It's a bold step in an industry that rewards complacency, a monstrous adrenaline rush for those willing to brave its highest peaks and deepest depths, and a must-play for anyone, yes, anyone, who enjoys dark fantasy. I'm going to start off with a little bit of an odd take. I don't play Souls games for their difficulty. I think the difficulty of these games are taking up too much of people's focus. I'm not good at video games. In most genres I play, if it's competitive, I'll usually fall in the middle to lower half of the scoreboard. That being said, even I can beat a Souls game. Don't get me wrong, they are punishing, but you aren't going to spend most of your time getting your ass handed to you. Maybe at first, but after you get used to its mechanics, it's more about being patient than anything else. That's why I think that anyone can beat these games, especially Elden Ring. So if you're scared about the game being too hard and worried that you won't beat it, don't be. There are more than enough options available to help you complete this game. Okay, so if I don't play Souls games for their difficulty and the feeling of accomplishment after beating a tough area or boss, why do I play it? Well, it's simple. Moments. From Software knows how to make moments that stick in your head and make you say, wow, video games are cool. Let me explain. One of the first bosses that you'll likely face in the game is Margit. He blocks your way to the first big dungeon that you face off against. His fight is exhilarating. He attacks with these wide, sweeping, fast combos that make you pay attention to his every move, but occasionally he jumps back and seemingly watches for your next attack. Makes you feel like Luke Skywalker about to face off with Darth Vader, or Jon Snow facing off with the Night King. Makes you feel badass. And when I think back to my fight with Margit, this is what I think of. This moment. Another is when I was fighting some enemies in a random part of the first area, and I was exploring every nook and cranny for some gear I could use to make my character better, and I found this chest. I opened it, and this smoke came out, transporting me to another side of the map. And then, those dreaded letters came across the screen. Caelid. Now, I had heard horror stories from my friends playing through Caelid, and now I was forced to tackle it head on. It's so rare that a game can evoke this much emotion out of a player without using the use of dialogue. These moments can come at any point during exploration, but they're most often felt during boss battles. The bosses in Elden Ring are some of the best I've ever experienced. What I appreciate so much about them is that they often have little reveals. These are usually caused by taking a boss's health down to about 50%, give or take. Let's use my favorite boss in the game as an example of this, Dragon Lord Placidusax. This boss has not one, not two, but 3 separate reveals that just blew me away the first time I fought him. The first is the intro cutscene and his initial drop from the sky. Rewinding time just to be able to fight this huge dragon is awesome enough, but him dropping down to reveal that he was already in an extremely weakened state with multiple heads already cut off is a really nice touch. The second is when you get to around the halfway point in the fight and he suddenly disappears. You search the area in an attempt to see where he is, only for him to come flying out of a cloud to swipe at you. From this point on in the fight, you have to deal with all of his other attacks, but now he just teleports around sometimes to keep you on your toes. The third reveal is just... wow. Just watch. The last thing I was expecting was for him to go full Godzilla on my ass. Something that I find is often overlooked when it comes to games in general is the music. Graphics and art style are most commonly talked about when it comes to the presentation, but what I find brings the whole package together is the music. Elden Ring features so many incredible tracks that naming them and talking about all of them could be an entire video in and of itself. Instead, I'm just going to show you some environments without music, and then again with music enabled. Hopefully that can better explain what I'm talking about. See what I mean? The music can feel light and full of breath, making you want to explore the landscape, or it can make you feel claustrophobic, trapped, hopeless. It's a prime example of how to prod at the player's emotion, yet not locking them into any cutscenes or forced walking sections. And that's just the background music. I don't want to spoil the tracks that you hear during boss fights, but just know that you will be floored by some of the themes you hear. In conclusion, I've never played a game like Elden Ring. It's obtuse, it deliberately hides large portions of its content away from the player, its massive world feels so well thought out, and it provides awe-inspiring set pieces for you to experience. Yes, it has some issues. The optimization isn't great, the UI could use some work, and the late game difficulty spike is really annoying. But those are very small prices to pay for one of the greatest games ever to come out. I love Elden Ring, and if you haven't tried it yet, I urge you to pick it up and start adventuring across the lands between.